honor to be with all of you. This is telling of the times, right? That we are all here on MS Teams from around our country. And we know that you are Guam CNMI, where America's Day begins, and it extends all the way into the continental United States. So I think it's wonderful, Harry, that the number of people who are on here today from across the nation and around the globe and even Singapore to be on here to witness this special day. And I understand, and I don't know if they're on here, but you know, distinguished guests that I knew whether they're on here or not, but I know they wanted to be, is Governor Torres, and of course, Lieutenant Governor Palacios, former Congressman Stenholm, as well as FEMA Director Bob Fenton. I know that that's someone you've worked very closely with throughout the years, as well as Admiral Manoni, Admiral Watkins, and Admiral Dodgen. And again, many coworkers and family and friends from across the country and world. I mentioned to Admiral Davidson that we were doing this on MS Teams today, and he was thrilled to know, because Harry, you were a critical part when he had that conversation with Governor Torres about when COVID-19 started, asking for you to be there to ensure that the support that was given to CNMI as well as Guam was first class, without hesitation, working closely with FEMA. And he wanted me to extend a personal congratulations to you and your family. So from Admiral Davidson, who is well aware of this well-deserved promotion to captain, and from all of the Indo-PACOM team. I let General Minahan, Lieutenant General Minahan, as well as our Chief of Staff know, and they're very, very proud of you and what you've done. You know, promotion to captain, for those of you who are not familiar, and it's kind of interesting to have an Army Major General to promote a naval officer. So I am especially honored, because it's usually other Army officers. But in a joint command like the Joint Region Marianas, U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, this is not that unusual. And what makes it special is that we are one team, one joint team. You know, the Army captain or the Navy captain, I'm already mixing it up, part of the team, Army captain, Navy captain, you have an eagle. And that eagle is the coolest, because, you know, when you're promoted to 1-star, and I'm sorry, Rear Admirals, when I was promoted to 1-star, it's really small and it almost looks like an E-Force specialist, but that eagle is proud. You know, I mean, it is the most incredible looking thing. And you know that it's not just about that parking space you get at the commissary, but it really is about the symbolism of that eagle. Very few people make that rank of 06 in all services. It is not just the Navy, but definitely in the Army as well to make colonel. It is one rank before you make Rear Admiral or General Officer in the Army. The difference between a 1-star and a captain in the Navy is really usually just one assignment. That's the level of responsibility, those heavy eagles on your chest and shoulders, depending on what uniform you're wearing. But you know, in the eagle, if you look at it, it's always facing forward, because that is an indication of where the vision that we expect Navy captains to have, to look forward. Also in its talons, one side are arrows that represent ability to defend, and the other an olive branch representing peace, because as all of us who've worn the uniform, veterans out there and those who are currently, know that we always aim for peace. And there's all kinds of threats out there, the ones that we know, but the ones that Harry's been involved with lately is not just the competition space with China and other national defense strategy threats, but the physical threat of the environment and climate change, as well as natural disasters. He has been in the forefront with his, you know, arrows in his quiver, taking down targets of those things that have been affecting us, and most recently has been COVID-19. And those of you who know Harry know that he embodies the kind of leadership that's needed for these kinds of challenges that are not so clear, that require communication and collaboration, which he does so well. But more importantly, I think a lot of our national leaders that are on the line here would say that what Harry brings to the table is compassion, empathy, understanding of the challenge, willingness to call out, having the passion and willingness and courage to call out the things and barriers that are in the way for us to get things accomplished, whether it's the people of CNMI or Guam or the joint region in general. He will definitely, has definitely made a difference and made a change. So with that, I also want to say that, we also know that today Harry's promotion, he is not alone. Melissa and again, Walker and Ryder have been key in ensuring that he's where he's at. How many times has Melissa had to take in the ball, especially when he's juggling multiple things, not just his civilian job as an environmental lawyer, but also wearing the uniform in his military job, and as well as being dad, husband, doing all the things that he needs to do. I'm sure, Walker and Ryder, that there were probably times when, I know my children, I have two as well, when you've had to look in the stands and, dad's not there. But you've been warriors throughout, and I just appreciate your service, Melissa, Walker and Ryder, because there are many times that you've had to explain to people why dad wasn't there. And I know that these deployments during COVID-19, you've had to, Harry, take on a lot. And I know how grateful, when you mentioned how grateful you were for Melissa. So thank you, Melissa, for what you've done to ensure that our country has amazing talent, like your amazing husband, Harry. So before I give the oath, I just want to say one thing about the oath. Harry, you've taken this oath many times, and so it's not surprising. Sometimes we just rattle it off our tongue and we don't think about what it says, but it really is reaffirming your support and defense of the Constitution of the United States. And I think right now, when our country needs to reevaluate, the dedication to our democracy, liberty, as well as justice and freedom and equal opportunity, all these things that you embody, Harry, all these things that you lead in everything that you do. And I think everyone on the line here would agree with me as we see the number of people who are on. So with that, we will start with the oath. So if you could raise your right hand, Harry. And if everyone could mute their mics besides Harry, there we go. I state your full name.
I, Harry Walker Elliott IV.
Do solemnly affirm.
Solemnly affirm.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America.
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America.
Against all enemies.
Against all enemies.
Foreign and domestic.
Foreign and domestic.
That I will continue to bear true faith and allegiance.
That I will continue to bear true faith and allegiance.
To the Constitution.
To the Constitution.
And to the country.
And to the country.
Whose course it directs.
Whose course it directs.
And that I take this obligation freely.
And that I take this obligation freely.
Without any mental reservation.
Without any mental reservation.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Captain Elliott. So with that, I turn it back over to you as you do the pinning.
Thank you so much. So thank you, and I'll come back to a speech, but right now I want to introduce Walker and Ryder and Melissa to help me put these on. Cause if you could come assist them to make sure that this right.
Put them upside down.
Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you, and please take your seats. That is a humbling and overwhelming experience, and I cannot thank everybody enough. Major General Verasalon, your words were very meaningful, and I appreciate them. I ask you to do this because you have been not just a mentor and a leader, but somebody that I've tried to model my leadership after. And it means a lot to me that you're here. So thank you so much. So I believe that I'm the second person in my family to have ever worn eagles. The first person to have worn eagles in my family was my great-grandfather, Walter Lynn, who served as an officer in both World Wars. And as I learned more about his story, a theme became apparent, and that is that my journey, like everyone else who has ever served, is not easy, and it's been full of challenges. And we can only overcome those challenges because we are surrounded by good people and loved ones who look out for us. So I want to take a minute to read a letter that Walter wrote on November 14th, 1917, to his then fiancée, soon-to-be wife, Beatrice. Dear Beatrice, I dislike very much to disappoint you, and I hate very much worse to admit a failure, but such is the case. I was discharged from the officers' training camp yesterday on the charge of military ineptitude. Truly, one thing could have disappointed me more, and that would have been discharge from the Army. I suppose the charge was correct, for the captain would not or could not tell me just how it was that I was unfit in a military way. However, I do know that I have been fool enough and had been thoughtful enough to allow personalities to enter the game. I'll report to Camp Travis sometime this week. If you will write to me after this has happened, you will please use the following address in your letters. By the way, your sweets were delicious. So why do I read that? Walter was discharged from the officer training school because of his last name, because it had German tendencies. And that is legitimately why he was kicked out of camp. And he didn't let that stop him. He came back, and probably most likely because B told him to, gave it another chance. And as I said, he eventually rose to the rank of colonel in the United States Army, and he served with distinction in both World Wars. I too would never have gotten to this point without the help of everybody in this room and everybody online. And if you will bear with me, the reason I did this ceremony was not for me, but so I could say thank you to a number of people. And this list is not exclusive, but I'm just going to try and hit some. First of all, to the public leaders, the Honorable Leon Guerrero, Governor of Guam, the Honorable Ralph De Leon Guerrero Torres, the Governor of CNMI, the Honorable Josh Tenorio, Lieutenant Governor of Guam, the Honorable Arnold Palacios, Lieutenant Governor of the CNMI, Congressman Charlie Stenholm. Charlie, I don't know if you are on the line, but you set an example for me that I have followed to this very day. Your compassion and commitment to public service is remarkable. Thank you. Of course, Mayor Jesse Allig. I'm just going to say this is not an endorsement, but the greatest mayor on Guam. And I see online the Honorable Will Ross, who is a jurist who stands above his peers. Will, thank you. To my friends in the CNMI, Joel De Leon Guerrero, Clyde Narita, Esther Muna, the Honorable Wes Bogdan. Don't ask Wes what cases he tries or hears. Gil Burnbridge, Jolie Dela Cruz, Mayor Joyce St. Nicholas, Mayor Edwin Aldon, Glenna Palacios, Glenna, my phone hasn't rang. I don't know what's wrong, but Glenna, thank you. Kim King Hines and Ty Pauling. To the Guam disaster team, Charles Estevez, Leo Espia, and I'm going to put Roy Tetsui in this group. Roy is my Yoda. He has taught me so much. You're an amazing man, Roy. To some of my clients, Admiral Shoshana Chatfield, Admiral Bette Bolivar, Admiral John Manoni, and Captain Mike Ballou, thank you for believing in me and for guiding me and allowing me to give you my advice. To my military career, I spent a tour in the 7th Fleet, and I had some of the most amazing leaders and mentors that you could ever hope to have. And let me just read this list because it blows me away. All of these gentlemen were captains or commanders when I knew them. But now it's Admiral Kevin Hayes, Admiral Joey Dodgen, Admiral Ted LeClaire, who, by the way, is the only flag officer that I'm aware of that I was a commander with. He and I were both commanders. So Admiral LeClaire is an absolute rock star. Thank you. Admiral Larry Watkins, who I saw on the line earlier. Admiral Watkins, thank you. And Captain Lance Snyder, who kept me sane and kept me pointed in the right direction. To my DCE West team, who I had the privilege of being the executive officer for several years for. Captain Melinda Michael is the current CO. Chief Albert Rivera, Chief Paulo Otero, and I am very proud to say this, Chief Rayani Untalan. Chiefs have kept me on the straight and narrow, and I owe so much to them. One of my proudest moments as I was putting this list together was figuring out that I have had the privilege of being either XO, CR, CO, or OIC to 11 people who made the rank of chief and one who made the rank of sergeant first class. So thank you all. To Arlen Aquino, Frank Allig, Joshua Demondon, Nito Evangelista, and Rosario Santeliz. You're my war team. I'll go anywhere with you guys. Thank you. My very first command tour was Naval Surface Forces, Naval Reserve, Naval Security Force, Naval Surface Combat Systems Center, Wallops Island, which is a mouthful. My very first command chief, Bob Sloan, Chris Gilbert, Carl Habig, Vince Law, Kim McHugh, and Scott Krager. Vince, I hope you're on the line. Love you, brother. To the Strategic Sea Lift Officer community, Aaron Asimakopoulos, Eric Cox, Keith Dominic, Steve Earl Eiler, and Todd Hiller, who was one of my very first department heads. I would not be here today without Todd, that's for sure. Other mentors, Captain Mike Mattis, Captain Ben Wilkie, and I don't see him. I think he's online. I was told he was having trouble keeping himself muted, but Captain Jeff Grimes. Captain Grimes, I will still call you sir, and I quite literally owe my life to Jeff, so thank you. My current unit is Commander Naval Surface Forces Pacific, Captain Margaret Dean, XO Eric Hahn, Captain Alan Baca, and yes, Captain Baca, you will get my FitRep input, I promise. And Jeff Gosh, my Bridge Resource Management partner in crime. Thank you guys. Uh-oh, there we go. I'd like to thank some artists. I'm a big fan of music. I'm a big fan of movies. I'm a big fan of literature. It is art that makes life worth living. And I'd like to thank Dee Snider. And you may laugh, but I ask you to go Google Dee Snider and Senate testimony. There's probably not a greater example of what it means to be a citizen leader than Dee Snider's testimony before the Senate. I'd also like to thank my friend Will Gravitt. You are a true friend and an inspiration. And also Sarah Beth Clevenger, who is the most amazing artist that I know, literally the kindest person that I know, and the godmother to my beautiful children. Thank you, Sarah Beth. To my friends from my time in Washington, D.C., Billy Pache, Julie Turner-Merberg, Alex Silby, Gina Zach, Chris Thayer, Sean McGarry. Sean, one of the few Army JAGs I know, and definitely the best Army JAG I know. No offense to the rest of the team at Innovaco. FEMA's played a very important part of my life over the last few years. So I want to name check some folks and tell them thank you. Of course, Bob Fenton, Bill Roach, Tom Erickson. Tom, by the way, never gets his name called out in speeches. So Tom, I'm calling your name out. Thank you, brother. Robert Pesapane, Delbert Carpenter, Carol Fleming, Steve Graves, Tracy Haynes. Tracy, your constant support kept me strong in some very difficult times. Dave Haas, Jennifer Lieb, who is a rock star, Jessica Oram, who is also a rock star, and Desiree Vinson, who is a rock star. You will not find three better leaders in FEMA than those three ladies. Todd Hoos, who brought me literally all the fizzy water that you could buy on Saipan when I was stuck in Rhoda and needed some fizzy water. Thank you, Todd. Brandon White, who we call Eeyore. Brandon, thank you. And to the entire Navy Office of General Counsel, you guys have supported my dual career almost from the very beginning, and your compassion and understanding has allowed me to get here. Specifically, I'd like to call out Gary Ressing, who is the Principal Deputy General Counsel of the Navy and has yet to fire me. Tony Verducci, who is the Counsel for Naval Installation Command, who has also yet to fire me. And Joe Doinas, who is the greatest boss that I've had, who has also yet to fire me. Tony Vega Fria, who has somehow escaped this room, but Tony Vega Fria is the world's greatest paralegal, and she's also a pretty damn good cook, a baker, and we'll get to experience that. Tony, thank you. And of course, my other partner in crime, Dave Hopkins. And lastly, from the OGC list, Mr. Joel Wager, who is my wife's second maid of honor, and ask me later that story. The finest piece of lawyering I ever have done. Most people get divorced by court order. I got married by court order. Story for a different day. To my Kings Point class of 99. Hoorah, 99. The very few times I wear my class ring. I'm a proud Kings Pointer. To my best friends, Mike, and Dave. Mike Perry, Mike Price, Dave Moss. Wouldn't be here without you guys. Sarah Moss, you're part of the team. Sarah. Pam McCombs from Abilene. She makes the world's greatest candies, and she makes them just for me, and I appreciate her. And finally, probably the most important on this list is my family. My mother-in-law, Lil, who is with me today. My aunts, Pat, my uncle Jim, my aunt Peggy. I thought I was going to do this. My uncle Charles, who are all with me. I think some of them are online. Thank you. To all of my cousins. To my late stepmother, Rhonda. And to my father, who I know are watching from above. I miss you guys. I wish you guys could be here, and I know you are in spirit. Thank you. To my amazing mother, who gave me all the gifts that a son could ever want for. You opened my eyes and showed me the wonder of the world. You showed me to look for what could be in the midst of what is. I love you so much, and I'm truly thankful for having you as my mother. To my two sons, Walker and Ryder, I love you. And you put up with so much for me to be able to do this job. I'm the luckiest father alive to have you two. No matter what you want to do in this world, you will succeed. You are sweet, you are loving, you are smart, you are kind. Thank you. And finally, to the real reason that I could do this. To my amazing, wonderful, best friend, partner, I won't say the other thing, to my wife, Melissa. I love you. And these are just as much yours as they are mine. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much. I cannot tell you how humbled I am. I am truly overwhelmed. And I will close with this. For as long as the Navy will have me, I will continue to serve with all of the grace and distinction that I can possibly muster. And I know that with the continued support of all of you, that we are the greatest nation on the planet. And I will do my part to make sure that we continue to stay that way. Thank you so very much. Chaps, would you take us home?
Sure. Let us pray. Loving Lord, we give you thanks for this time of sharing one with each other, this time of celebration. For those who are gathered here in this room, we ask that you would bless our conversations, and thank you very much for the cake which we are about to receive. For those who are around the world, we ask that we continue in the spirit of love and of caring for Harry, that we remember him in our thoughts and our prayers in the midst of the execution of his duties. Continue to watch over us all and care for us. And may we be mindful that we are guided by your hand. In your holy and precious name we pray these things. Amen.
And with that, let's eat some cake. Thank you, guys.
Enjoy the cake. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Walker.
Love you, love you. Let's see, I'm not. Is that camera on?
By the way, we'll unmute if anybody wants to talk. I appreciate it.
We miss you in Texas.
Oh, thank you. Finally, get out.
Yeah, I mean, no.
Whatever.
Hi, Mom.
Thank you. I heard most of it. Love you.
Love you. We recorded it all.
Oh, good. Hey, Gran. Hey, Walker. Hey, Ryder. Oh, Bubba. Love you guys. Talk to you later.
It would not be. You noticed that.
I was like, oh, there's a face blowout going on.
Oh, Jesus.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Harry.
Tommy,
The
welcome
shoes,
back.
the brand is beige.
Yeah.
So they go in
It was up on stage doing several turns about that time. His entire soul just off his shoe, and I was just like,
Oh, there's the
Well, I mean, at least the top part. Why am I falling down here?
E.T.
The texture got out, so it couldn't stay. And then I get here and I can't get in, but I didn't want to call you because I didn't know.
I don't know, I was like, that's you, and then
Yeah.
awesome lady. I was
And then I get
The archive, you know.
I mean, so he comes to get me, and as soon as I moved the thing, all the drinks and all the ice fell out. And your face. Like,
You know this.
face.
that's okay.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, is this yours? Oh, okay.
Yeah. I never
No,
seen
no, no.
this,
Cake for ladies now?
all these people.
I know.
Mikey!
That's,
Very.
I don't think.
Yellow.
No.
I think you just did.
Blow off. I had it written. Oh my God.
That's okay.
I
know.
I was like,
I was like, I'm
No, I don't know, because
Hello. Hey, daughter.
Thank you. Here, I'll pass over here.
I had this whole like thing about being the same rank as her.
Aaron. Hello, daughter.
Not. Well, if you're on my sister, I wrote a whole thing about her.
Yeah, if you had forgotten Mel or the boys, right?
So my
What's
department
up,
heads
buddy?
were, I had a bunch of FBA. Almost all those guys are gonna put on the thing.
Oh, when he thinks everyone, he just.
Hey!
Hello, Aaron.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank
Every
you.
time I was like.
Thank you so much.
I didn't hear your name. I ran out of my office, but it was done.
They're finished. And then
Where's
you just hear the-
Look, it's Funny Dave. Funny Dave.
Aaron.
This month's behind.
Yeah.
Congrats, buddy.
Yeah, I was like, behind you.
I must have just printed, I don't know what
Everybody knows.
Hello. Aaron. Hey, get in.
Aaron,
Hey, Aaron,
your mother's.
your mom's calling. Your mom is calling you.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Aaron. Left your picture.
Hey, what's going on?
Came back in.
Billy! You gotta shut up, Billy.
Hey, what's?
Love you both.
We love you too, Mom.
I know. Maybe we'll get together here soon. In person.
It's me.
I gotta go.
Okay, we'll talk to you soon. Love you.
Bye. Gotta go. Love you.
Love you.
Gotta go.
All right, thank you. Love you.
I love you too. Nice.
All I do is.
Yeah.
Dave, you can unmute yourself if you want to talk.
I know, right?
I know. I'm talking to you and I'm talking to Sarah, so I'm muting myself when I'm talking to her. All right, babe. I love you. Bye.
I'm glad you could. Where are you?
I'm in Bangalore, India.
Jesus. Bangalore, India. So we literally spanned the globe.
That's awesome.
Kelly Logan, she was trying to log in.
Who did?
Kelly was trying to help her log in.
She got in.
Yeah, that's why I couldn't get in.
Ty, I see you on the line. Thanks, Ty. Marty. Oh, who's that? Mom, you gotta turn your phone off. We can see you walking. Yeah. We get to watch Dillard's department store up close and personal.
What do you guys like? And then the first thing you said is like, you're late. And I was like,
I know.
I know, God. But you get yelled at by everybody.
Ryder, Walker, you want to help me?
Lars.
Jet cat back?
Nope.
Oh, that's going
Yes.
Leave it under there, I'm gonna keep it.
How to get ice.
You're right, I'm gonna have to pick it up to that room.
Transition.
Delicious as always, Tony.
Called,
Thank
then it
you,
was
I'll be
interrupted,
back.
and he said, right before
I got set up with the
Then-
person who got my certification.
oh, no, she knows it. I'm like, what are you doing? And the guy showed up, I'm like, oh, yeah, great, go, yeah. I gotta call my.
Just go prepare.
You have cake?
I did.
I love Tony's cake.
I love Tony's cake. It's good. Exactly. I pulled back
Oh,
to the jam.
Of course, it's James wants a second piece. I'm like, I'll eat two. I haven't eaten today.
Oh, no, that's the last.
It's actually really good. I like the fact they did the coconut instead of the jam. Or whatever, pineapple or coconut.
Yeah.
I like that. It's interesting.
Pineapple. I added coconut to my birthday.
Yeah, Tony makes.
I like the island flair.
Yeah, everybody's a little red.
I'm gonna go earn this paycheck they give me. Let's see what I mean, notional here.
Right.
I'm just not, I'm just putting fresh fruit.
Thanks, Paul.
You were talking about the email. It's really good.
Oh, yeah, her cake was, she does all of our cakes for like birthdays, the boys' birth parties and stuff. She makes awesome cakes for them.
So-
Whatever they want.
I'll be
She'll make like
sending both of
crazy,
you.
like an Ender dragon.
And then I was like, yeah, he's on.
That's
I offer website.
Yeah, at their parties, you offer adult cake.
Different,
No,
different demands and questions.
no, no.
And we fly.
That's great.
This is like worth the calories.
Yeah,
it's not under- it's not over.
That's what's all over the floor.
This is good.
But they've been in the closet forever. and-
I see instructions.
Everyone's talking about the brand.
I guess that's what
She just asked, are they known for blowouts?
Yeah.
I told her, I was like, well, they have a name for it,
Are they gonna be
so.
here for 5 days?
Yeah, I mean, it was like a little, and then you like, even more, and more, come on. Like,
At least I didn't fall that.
that would have been.
I have
So people have to wear them all week every day. What-
Sometimes you'll get a pair that will last and last.
Forever.
And then sometimes you'll get a pair that will blow out like the next day.
I have never had a big blowout.
So, but what part is actually falling?
They're supposed to be kitties, but like, you don't wear them all the time.
Oh, those do more,
Yeah.
but the leather one, do a lot too. Actually, I had mine custom made mine. They don't have that issue. Cause they're actually all leather, heels, all leather.
It's like a joke. Look at sarcasm about it. Was it made by a child? It's like,
These are the next.
Oh,
I
nice.
brought you one. Want it?
Yes.
Nuts look better than, they come in like a 3-pack. They're upstairs in your purses, so they have those masks.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Cut off the back.
Right.
Yeah.
You can actually have like.
This is the same as this,
Yeah.
so I thought that might be a little.
Yeah, much more comfortable. Harry and I have checked.
Yeah.
And so funny when like we're. Oh, I see the eyes. Like, yep. We don't have the same nose or ears.
At least you have normal ears.
Oh.
You're good at that.
Are you talking about your ears? You know,
Did you hear that?
no, he was making fun of himself.
His own ears.
I have tiny ears.
No, actually go stand by him. He has bigger.
I know, look at the comparison.
That's hilarious.
I have the same size ears as I see.
I know, he's like, did you hear? It's like, he's not making fun of you. I think he's They are. Your ears are big. He has hands.
And then I look like my father, and everyone else has tiny ears in my family. So it's like, something happened.
Something went wrong.
Your ears are just fine. He just has teeny tiny ears. We're just making fun of Uncle Ronnie's ears.
They got coins from the admiral.
Ooh.
Wow.
By the way, look at the back of that coin. Your father helped design that.
That was hilarious. I was like, okay.
The pro
I
up.
was like, really? Like my cat got out, so Tim was chasing him, couldn't find my wallet.
Yeah, you weren't here on time. That's totally
I
why.
know.
Yeah, you missed it. That's what I was gonna go, is you're even.
Then he said he had to eat, like, when you go to conversation.
Oh.
Abe was the one who gave him the coin.
It makes my eyes ring even more, and I'm like,
I think we will wrap up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will wrap up the team's meeting. Thank you so much, Mike, Dave. Mike, by the way, you look great. How much money do we owe for the shave?
A lot. A lot. A lot.
Shave it off.
Mike,
Donation.
That is
oh, it's just like
You look like,
Long hair. I'm not a good hippie.
well, so
you need a man bun like Ronnie.
you look
Nope.
like,
Refuse. Man buns will never happen.
you look like an 80s rock band that got back together for a reunion tour. That's the vibe I'm getting.
So,
And Dave wakes up and he takes his Lego hair and just snaps it in place like he has for the last 35
It
years.
just pops on and off, man. Just like that. Hey, it's great to see you, man. Great ceremony. Seriously,
Yeah.
it was awesome.
Touch him.
I don't know if you can see this, but I had a Bates blowout. Literally, my heels are falling off my shoes during the middle of the ceremony.
It's all over the floor.
Are they Frams?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, dude. That happens all the time with those crappy things.
I know, right? Well, my Lil asked, she said, does it happen? I'm like, well, it happens enough that we have a name for it.
Yes.
It's like Broken Arrow. It happens enough that we have a name for it.
oh, are you talking about?
Big chunks.
Oh my gosh, oh, that's from you? Oh, look at the sign. The sign, like, oh, when you walk, it all comes out.
Wow, that's the soul.
Your soul is falling apart. You're losing your soul. Oh, big chunk of your soul.
Thank goodness we have a job.
I know.
Yeah, your checklist says your soul's falling apart.
Where's the word that?
Stop recording.
Oh, so it's the conference.
Hi, guys. I love you all.
Love you guys.
Love y'all. Take care. Congrats.
Yeah, congratulations, buddy. It's really neat, right? It was specifically designed for that thing too. They made this